So hey guys, welcome to day 22 of 365 days of showing off my life. And let me tell you, what we're going to talk about today is something that this is part of my daily routine, is trying to figure out how to make my films known by the world. I'm wearing this shirt right here. There's a Teddy Told Me To shirt. And these are some of the slates and the things these are some props and slates from some of the projects I directed. After Dark, that's one of my favorite movies. This is Justin Scart's hat from when he died in Las Vegas Frankenstein. The Slaughterhouse on the Hill, here's Las Vegas Frankenstein here. Then we got some screen use props. This is Vince's head from where the shovel took his face off in Teddy Told Me To, which is from a little homage to the fact that Teddy was developed on Face Off. There's the Teddy Told Me To slate and the original bear mask that was worn in Teddy Told Me To. And this is the costume, Michael Shields' costume from Teddy Told Me To, the movie. So we present a lot of the film artifacts here at the Monster Museum. These are all screen-used props from the movies. Here we have Teddy Told Me To. Up here we have Slaughterhouse on the Hill. And then Laughter Face, which has not been released yet. Over here we have the After Dark. This is a coffin from the After Dark. And Bobby's face from where the skateboard cut his head in half. And then over here we have our good boy Nameless, played by Steve Hansen. This is screen-used wardrobe and mask. We have the Las Vegas Frankenstein. That was also played by Steve Hansen. That's his screen-used prosthetic makeup. And then this head is a guy named Jay, who was in my wife's movie, Gould Creek, that she directed. And that head has been with us ever since. So the thing is, we put all this stuff right at the end of the Monster Museum. And then we have a little theater in the Monster Museum, and we're playing behind the scenes of those movies. So this is Slaughterhouse on the Hill, playing behind the scenes, making of. And we try as hard as we can. We also have a TV in the Plantain room. This has got the trailers on it. So there's a Teddy Told Me To trailer. These little movies are so important to me, and they're so important to my story and my career. But without Blockbuster, without Walmart being a possibility to carry Blu-rays for us, without 7-Eleven being a possibility to carry Blu-rays for us, believe it or not, Walmart and 7-Eleven are the biggest retail outlets for Blu-rays and DVDs. So without those avenues, we are stuck trying to push our own product. And at the Monster Museum, I'm lucky enough to be a filmmaker who has a retail space where I can sell you a Blu-ray or a DVD, or I can sell you an autograph or a poster or whatever it may be. A lot of filmmakers, they make their films and then they go out to their distributors. Their distributors are now only digital. You know, they're putting distribution out on streaming services, and so the distributor goes through an aggregator. The distributor takes a chunk, the aggregator then takes another chunk, and then the streaming service, there's no records or tracking. So it's impossible to know how much the movies make. But money aside, I don't do this to make money. I do this to share my product with fans. I make these movies because they're fun. Oh, here's a trailer for Nameless. This is a really fun movie that we made. That's my three-wheeler. And but I make these movies because I want to share them with the world. They're my art. I want people to see the movies. And so what I really love to do is put a physical copy in somebody's hand. Because somebody who's going to buy a Blu-ray or a DVD, they're going to watch it. And they're going to watch it all the way through, and then they're going to watch the special features. Somebody who stumbles upon it on Tubi or they're streaming, they're going to watch it, and then a commercial break comes, and then they check their phone, and then they walk away, and then somebody makes a phone call, and then they come back to it, and it's back at the beginning, and they just skip to something else, and they never saw the movie. And they'll be like, oh man, I loved your movie. I'm not done with it yet. I haven't finished it yet, but I love it. And I'm like, well, okay, you know, I appreciate the streaming service is cool because you can access so much, but the physical copy, physical media, that's the collector's media. That's what makes a cult classic. And that's my audience, is collectors. So I'll show you what I do here at the Monster Museum. At the very end of the Monster Museum, you know, it's about 2,800 square foot. But when you get to the end, you get this Plan 10 area. That's all the pictures that I directed, I produced. And then you get this theater, and it's all the stuff behind the scenes of our movies playing in here. I have the audio off so you can hear me. And then when you come out into the store, into the Monster Museum store, we have a kiosk here. We have a kiosk here that is all Plan 10 features. So these are all the movies that I created. We tell the story of Plan 10 Pictures right here. That's about me and my wife and starting the company. And then we have all of our movies. These are two. This is one my wife directed. There's one my wife directed. There's my first directorial debut. This is a film that I didn't direct or produce, but we put out physical media-wise because they only have a digital deal. This right here is a movie I directed. That's one that my wife directed. This is one that I directed I'm real proud of. This movie is available nowhere else yet. This is only here on Blu-ray. And I directed that, and it took 15 years to make this movie. Here's some VHS tapes for a movie that my wife directed that is so cool. And then Nameless right here, also only available on Blu-ray, only at Tom Devlin's Monster Museum or plan10pictures.com. So I have been trying to build a brand and build a company. We have more than 10 titles, and we're trying so hard to become Full Moon, to become that kind of a company that is loved by the fans. Maybe not by everybody, because not everybody, this isn't movies made for everybody, but it's made for independent horror lovers that love, slashers, monsters, campy, good times. That's what these movies are made for. This is not art that is redefining the industry. We're not trying to give people nightmares for the rest of their life. We are just making good old-fashioned video store fun. That's what we make. And that's what the Plan 10 pictures are. So you can stumble upon them on streaming. You can find them, online in different areas. But to buy a physical copy and take it home and watch the movie, and then these things are packed with special features. So that's a DVD. There's special features on all of these movies. I don't know, there's a glare, but if you can see that, these things are packed with special features, and they, here, let's see if we can focus in here. Maybe we'll put a scan of those. I don't know if you can read that. Anyway, they're packed with special features because that amplifies the fandom. I'm trying to build a cult classic, trying to build the cult following, and Terror Threads made these really cool shirts of Teddy Told Me To. And that was all part of my plan of building the cult classic. Everybody by now is familiar with Terrifier. I have a extreme belief that the reason Terrifier is as popular as it is, not because it's a great movie, because the images that the true fans wore these shirts made by Terror Threads, and you would go to a horror convention, and I'll never forget, because I do horror conventions all the time. I'd be sitting at the table, I'd say, oh, there's that Art the Clown on a t-shirt, man. That is so cool. That's an independent film. A buddy of mine, Damien Leone, I've known him through the conventions for a long time. We've actually worked together briefly. I know Damien. Every time we say, hi, what's up, man, because we met at the conventions, but I'd see a dude walking by wearing a Terrifier shirt. That's his movie. Like, he made that on his own without studio help. And those shirts were so cool. And then I'd see another one. And Terror Threads had the licensing rights for Terrifier. I believe those shirts helped fuel the popularity of the movie, because people would see the shirts and they would go, I got to see this movie. Look at that white and black clown, is terrifying. And I really do think that the shirts helped fuel the fandom. So I went straight to Terror Threads and I was like, guys, what will it take? I need a Teddy Told Me To shirt. And they were happy to do so. We did a limited edition, and it came with a Blu-ray, so people that weren't familiar with the movie could buy the shirt, because they were Terror Threads fans. They would buy the shirt. I mean, there's clowns. Those are always sellers. And this girl's getting her face cut off. That's Tabitha Stevens. She's a superstar. And then our character right there smack in the middle. The artwork is second to none. These guys killed it. Those shirts came out. They didn't sell out on day one. But they did sell. I mean, they're not available anymore. They sold enough that I don't have the leftover inventory here at the Monster Museum. But they didn't sell like wildfire. So no, we didn't get a second shirt. Doesn't mean that we never will again, but we need to pick up the steam of trying to build these cult classics. So I have a couple thought processes. When I first made Teddy Told Me To, I was so excited about this movie. I entered it into 20 film festivals. I paid the admission, sent the movie, put it out there. And this is my baby. I was so proud of this movie. And I entered in 20 film festivals, and I got denied by 21 film festivals. How does that happen? I don't even know. Well, one person asked for the movie. I submitted to 20. Then there was a festival that was like, oh, we saw you made this movie. We want to play it at our festival. I sent it to them, and they're like, actually, we don't have room in the schedule. I'm sorry. Meaning your movie didn't make the cut, And I was so proud of this film. Every person I showed this movie loved it. We did a big press junket here at the Monster Museum in the theater. Without anybody knowing, I invited Bloody Disgusting, Fangoria. I had a bunch of writers from a bunch of different horror journalists. I picked them all up at the airport in a limo, and I brought them back here. They had no idea what they were going to do. And then I showed them my directorial debut, Teddy Told Me To. Every one of them loved it. They all loved it. They posted reviews. They loved the movie. I enter all these festivals. I didn't get into one festival. So me and my producer, Kayla, knocked our heads together, and I told her, I remember, I showed up one day and I said, I need you to buy a map. Buy a map. We're going to put it on the wall, and we're going to tour America. We're going to make the Teddy Takes America tour. And we did make the Teddy. Our first Blu-ray that we ever put out for Teddy was this special edition, Teddy Takes America tour. This is one remaining one. I think I probably have a handful left, but barely any. And Wally did that artwork of that cool, it's almost like an American flag on his skull. I love that artwork. And this has all the tour dates on the back. We did 13 cities in like 7 weeks or something. I honestly can't remember how many weeks, but we did 13 cities. We were in the van for like over a month and a half or so. And it was just me and Kayla. We hit the road. We started in Las Vegas at the Sin City Horror Fest, sold 2 theaters out. Then we went all the way back to Massachusetts, Salem, Massachusetts. Good crowd there. Went to Maine, good crowd there. Got to East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, sold the theater out. It was just building and building as we toured back west. And it was amazing. The Dallas show was amazing. We had a good show in Arizona. And Hollywood, we sold out. Like, I watched hundreds of strangers. Oh, this was the Teddy tour. These are the last 4. We have 4 more Teddy tour shirts. This was the Teddy Takes America. And we did it like a rock band, like with the tour dates on the back. And this was in 2022. Toured the movie across the country. I watched hundreds of people. We just sat in the back of the theater or up in the balcony, watched hundreds of people enjoy our film. And I was like, this is going to work, man. We're going to be the next Terrifier. Like, I knew that. There was not a question in my mind. Teddy has taken America, and it's going to take the world. We were already planning a second leg of the tour to go down south. And then, instead of the tour, I said, I'm going to do a horror convention tour. So I did every horror convention that I could hitch my wagon to. And I did Spooky Empire, Mad Monster Party, Days of the Dead, Flashback Weekend, all over the country. I don't even know, maybe 20 horror conventions in that year of selling Teddy Told Me To. And the horror conventions have changed a lot since I was young. When I was young, you would go to a horror convention to find rare movies that you couldn't find elsewhere, to find new filmmakers. I'll never forget when Adam Green showed up. Nobody knew who Adam Green was, but he was pitching the Hatchet Army and get on board right now. This is an old school American horror movie. And I was on board, man. And even before that, finding those gems that people don't know about, that was what a horror convention was about for me as a young up-and-coming filmmaker, up-and-coming effects artist. But today, that's not the case. You go to a horror convention, it's a lot about cosplay. It's a lot about people getting autographs from Hollywood celebrities, not just the horror folks. And they kind of brush past the indie guys. And that's a shame, because that used to be our outlet. That was our spot. That was our place to shine. And so I bring all these movies to horror conventions. I used to make, when we were doing the Teddy in America tour with the conventions, I was making like $2,000 a weekend selling Teddies and autographs and this and that. But now I bring this whole library with me. I make maybe $300 a weekend. And that's selling $20 Blu-rays with free autograph. I make maybe $300, $270. You know, that's not enough to afford the travel in the room. That's not enough to afford. It's cheaper for me to go to a horror convention and give away 11 copies. Just give them away. Hey, take my movie. You're wearing you like this? You like Maniac or you like Sleepaway Camp 2? You're gonna love this movie. Give them the copy, and that would be cheaper than buying the table and trying to sell the movie. It would be more beneficial to me to go hand out freebies than it would be to eat the expenses and sell 10 Blu-rays, for $200. So anyway, the cult classic is very difficult to create now. And part of my daily mission is I knock my head against the wall. I talk to Kayla. I talk to Lola, Mike Lanzini. We're just constantly like, how do we get out into the ethos? Because we're on Tubi. We're on Amazon. We're on Fossum. It's near impossible to get on Netflix anymore. I say near because I'm not sure if there's a loophole. But Netflix has a requirement now for sound mix that's like 10.1 or something. I'm not super technical and I don't know if that's accurate. It's like a 10.1 sound mix. Everything has to be shot on a specific camera. I mean, we use a really nice camera. We're using Blackmagic Pocket 6K, or we use the Panasonic Lumix. We use nice cameras. Everything is shot correctly, but Netflix has their own arrangement, and they make their own content now. And so it's very difficult to get on those platforms. But even if we could get on every platform, that's not the audience I'm looking for. I'm looking for the audience that when I give them this disc, they watch it, they watch the special features, they love it, I sign the cover, and then maybe they seek out John Carius, who's the star of this movie, or John Ward, who's the second in lead, and they get their autographs. That's the audience I'm looking for, is the audience that I was. I mean, when you come to the Monster Museum and you see all of these autographs on the wall, we got Tom Atkins and Butch Patrick and Elvira, Christy Swanson. These are people I was so excited to meet and chase down and get their autographs. I have all of this artwork. That is what I want these posters to look like, riddled with, go to a wrestling show and meet Gangrel and get his autograph on the After Dark. That's the audience I'm looking for. So here's where I believe I misstepped. And correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if anybody knows the answer to this. I don't believe, even though I did the Teddy tour, I toured this in theaters. I had wonderful write-ups online on all the horror sites. I did the convention tour and I put this in the hands of so many fans, and some of them are my friends now. We've gotten to know each other over this movie. People associate me with this movie. immediately, as soon as the opportunity came, I made Las Vegas Frankenstein. Like within a year, I made Las Vegas Frankenstein. Directly after Las Vegas Frankenstein, I started production on Nameless. Right after Nameless, I went into the After Dark. Like, I made 9 movies in the span of 2.5 years. I became a movie machine because I was obsessed. I was like, I'm going to be Full Moon. I'm going to be Trauma. I'm going to be Better Than the Asylum. And I just started Plan 10 pictures. Because the crazy thing is, we started this company over 16 years ago. Legend of the Sasquatch we made in, I don't know, this is a 15-year anniversary disc that we put out. So we made this movie a long time ago. That was our first film, Legend of the Sasquatch. My wife directed this. I produced it, wrote it, did the makeup effects. She rewrote it because I don't know how to write anything. But this movie we made over 15 years ago. And then we made Gould Creek right after it, directly after it. And then we followed it up with The Trek. And those 3 films, 10-year hiatus. Had kids, bought a house, life. And then I made Teddy Told Me To. And I fell in love with directing. I had never directed before. And when I made Teddy Told Me To, I fell in love with directing. And at that point, I just thought, this is my life. I am gonna be Charles Band. I am gonna be Lloyd Kaufman. I'm gonna have a library, and I built it immediately. And I think that's the problem. I think I needed to stick with Teddy until people were begging for a sequel. I don't think I stuck with it long enough. Like, my impatience got the best of me and I jumped on another movie. Then I'd show up at a convention and I'd have Teddy and Frankenstein. So they had a choice. Where before, if they met me, they just had Teddy and I could just ram Teddy down their throat. And it's a great movie. It's a first movie. There's flaws, there's whatever, but so Evil Dead is a first movie. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a first movie. Hatchet is a first movie. There's flaws, but those are the ones people remember. When you say Tobe Hooper, you don't remember Eaten Alive. You remember Texas Chainsaw Massacre. When you say Sam Raimi, Evil Dead. And when you say Tom Devlin, it's always going to be Teddy Told Me To. It's kind of like Lloyd Kaufman. It's funny because I always preach, all I know about filmmaking, I learned from The Toxic Avenger, one of my favorite books. It's the book that taught me how to be a filmmaker. But what is not in that book is brand recognition and sticking. The Toxic Avenger is Trauma. Trauma's got like 300 movies under the belt. It's not the first Trauma film either. You've got Squeeze Play. There's some early Trauma films before Toxic Avenger. But once Toxic Avenger hit, he stuck with Toxie as the brand. And that's what I'm now pivoting to do with Teddy. I don't believe Teddy is the best Plan 10 picture. This is my favorite movie I've ever made right here, The After Dark. I've made some really good ones too, like really fun movies. But The After Dark, this is personally my favorite film that I've made. This movie right here, Slaughterhouse on the Hill, this is a really fun movie that came out of some really crazy circumstances. I'm so proud of this movie for even existing. But Teddy is the brand. Plan 10 is the house that Teddy built. And I will pivot as of now to try to figure out a way to get this movie in the hands of more people physically. And I know not everybody has a Blu-ray player, and not everybody has a DVD player, which is so sad to my soul, because if you fall in love with Hellraiser 2 on streaming, if you're a 19-year-old who finds a horror movie on streaming that they've never heard of or seen, and you fall in love with it, 3 months later, that could be gone forever. Especially when the political climate changes, all of a sudden these movies start disappearing. And like, we'll never see I Spit on Your Grave and I'm not a fan of I Spit on Your Grave, but I'm not a fan of censorship. Joe Bob Briggs does the best spiel on physical media and the importance of owning our art. And I'm not against streaming, but I am against losing, like, go find Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go to College. That's directed by John Beekler. Kane Hodder is a stuntman. It has a wonderful, funny thing in it. Go find Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go to College.
streaming, because I don't believe that you will. You're good.
Am I good to go?
Yeah, oh, you're great. And I know what's in that box, and I'm so glad you just showed up right now.
Okay.
But I dare anybody to find some of these cult classics from yesterday. Can you even watch Batteries Not Included on TV anywhere? I mean, can you find The Gate, or even better, The Gate 2? I don't think so. Outside of Tubi, there's not a place to find rare movies. And even on Tubi, they're disappearing. They're taking away the rare movies. Yesterday, I watched Terminator 1 while I was making the video you guys saw of, I was sculpting the T-800. I put Terminator 1 on Netflix, and when I pressed play, it said, title will be leaving soon. Well, where the fuck's it going? That is like cinema gold. That's history. That's the beginning of James Cameron. That's the beginning of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And you're taking that movie away? If you don't own that movie, like I do, I own it on VHS, Laserdisc, and DVD. But I don't own the Blu-ray. If you don't own Terminator 2 or Terminator 1, and it disappears off of streaming, that's film history being ripped out from underneath us. So I am trying so hard to make these DVDs and these Blu-rays. I want every horror fan to have a Teddy Told Me To. I can't give them all away, but there's got to be a way to build an alliance of collectors, an alliance of, oh my God, those guys that go and seek out the box sets or seek out cover art variants. I mean, I was in Goodwill yesterday. I found a variant cover art on Tears of the Sun. I don't even need to watch. I want to watch that movie because it's director's cut, but I was there. I've seen that movie, but I bought it because it's a new cover. That cover, and it's not new. It's new to me. But there's just something, I want to own history when it comes to film because I love film. And that's the cool thing. Like, this disc will never be reproduced. This disc right here with this cover art that's hand-drawn by my friend Waleed will never be reproduced. And if this movie ever does become Terrifier took 4 years to take off, mind you. If this movie ever becomes Terrifier, this disc right here, there was 120 of them pressed, and those people have something nobody else will ever have. So, and there's no special features. There's no special features at all, but the tour date's on the back because we hadn't done the special features yet. And that's why it's so important, even if they did have that, to pick up the new Blu-ray, because the Blu-ray is filled with special features. So, I don't know, man. Help me make these movies a cult classic. If there's any advice out there, I'm willing to hear it. Put it in the comments. If you have friends that love horror movies, even if you don't, but you have friends that love horror movies, tell them, check out Teddy Told Me To. And so I started a new thing. This is funny. I joined every Tubi group that I could find online. Every single Tubi group. And any question ever asked, I respond, Teddy Told Me To. Not trying to be annoying, but trying to earworm the name into people's brains. So every Tubi group, I'm in like 12 of them that I could find, all day long I reply, Teddy Told Me To, Teddy Told Me To. What movie should I watch tonight? I saw one today. I have a broken fib. I'm going to be on the couch for a while. What should I watch? The other day somebody said, looking for a film without nudity and gore that I can show my teenage son. And I wrote, not Teddy Told Me To. Just to put the earworm in those people, to try to get the name flowing. Well, my wife said this morning, whatever you're doing with those Tubi, by responding Teddy Told Me To all day, our YouTube trailer, the views have grown like 70% in the last 3 weeks. So it's working. Like, they're checking out the trailer. I know the movie's not for everyone, but the movie is for horror fans. If you are a fan of horror, especially mid-80s to mid-90s horror films, Teddy Told Me To is for everyone. And believe me, if you're following my journey, these 365 days, you're going to hear me talk about this movie all the time because my year goal is to create a cult classic. To put this movie, I cannot wait till I walk into a convention and somebody is cosplaying Teddy. My God, that would be awesome. And the crazy thing is, I've seen it before when Teddy came out on Sci-Fi's Face Off. Season 1, Episode 4, I created Teddy. His first rendition. And Season 1, Episode 4, I created Teddy in his first rendition. And I went to a horror convention, and there was a guy dressed like Teddy. I got 3 different photos at Halloween of kids dressed up like Teddy. I got fan art of Teddy. Well, it started to happen when I was doing the convention tour. I never saw the cosplay, but I get fan art from kids. I get parents telling me they love the movie. It's very cool. I just need to create that cult classic like Sam Raimi did with Evil Dead. It's so hard now. Without the drive-in, without the video store, how do you lock people in to watch to the end? I don't know, but I will figure it out this year. Guys, I was just ranting about Teddy Told Me To, and this postage person brought a box in. And this is the box, and we are going to open this up. Nothing like doing a little unboxing on YouTube. I heard these ones are real popular. Ooh, ooh. This is 2 boxes. 1. This is cool. I know what this is. So there's an amazing artist, and he's out of the UK. His name is Dave Dent. Super good friend. We met him through the Monster Museum. We had a lot of mutual friends in the horror community. But since he's been in my life, he's been making me custom shoes, which are awesome. He's done this before, and these are definitely shoe boxes. I'm going to say that these are from Dave Dent. Oh my God. This is so cool. I never felt so cool in my life. This is really cool. Oh, geez Louise. I'm baffled right now. They smell good. Air Devlins. These are based off of Jordan 4s. They got the air bubble. They've got the air back here. Spider webs. Instead of Jordan on the front there, we got Tom Devlin's Monster Museum. This is maybe the sickest shoe I've ever seen in my life. That is a Jordan 4 that is custom made for me. He's made me some AJ ones, some Air Jordan ones. I have Monster Museum ones. I have Teddy Told Me To ones. But this is maybe the coolest thing I've ever seen right here. God, that's my favorite shoe, other than the Reebok pump. I love Reebok pumps. This is very cool. Look at that. Woo! I'm gonna wear these every day of my whole life. And I have no idea what could beat that, unless it's just another size. It might be another size. There we have another one. It's identical, yeah. So it looks like maybe just another size. Maybe he wasn't sure. No, they're identical. He sent me 2 pairs. Because he knows I'm real hard on shoes, and I'll probably blow these out in like 6 months. Because I'll wear them every day. This is my new favorite thing I've ever, this is the coolest thing anybody could ever have, is their own pro model shoe. So when I was on Face Off, I got sponsored by an airbrush company called Pache, and I got to make my own pro model Pache airbrush called the T13. And I told everybody, I was like, I might never get a pair of skate shoes, but I got an airbrush. But God, that is so freaking cool. Thank you, Dave Dent. I will wear these with pride. God, air bubble and everything. That is awesome. Guys, I am just so blown away about these shoes. I think they are so cool. Dave makes all kinds of awesome stuff. He has a company. I'm going to put all that web address right here in the description. Please go check him out. He'll mail order stuff. This is just too cool, and definitely check it out. Thank you guys for joining this journey, and thanks for check out Dave's work, and I guess I'll see you tomorrow now.